on, and I appreciate you letting me tap out. So I've only got like 9 people to get through. I'm going to get through them really, really quickly. And then I've got to jet and get on the road and do some things and some stuff. But first, I want to have just a teeny tiny PSA announcement. Okay. Y'all beware of fake mediums. Beware of fake mediums. They're rampant again on TikTok and I'm sure other places. Please, please, please pay attention to someone before you ever give them money, whether this is me or anyone else. Pay attention. If all they're doing in their life is telling you how to give them gifts, how to join their team, how to subscribe, how to do all of this shit to give them money, and they're never actually doing a reading, or if they're telling you to send dead people's energy to them, A, you can't do that, and B, what the fuck? Pay attention to the person doing the reading before you ever buy a reading from them, me or anyone else. Okay? It's my little PSA for the morning. All right. Miss Addilee, you are my first one today. Thank you, baby bees. I appreciate that. Good morning. Good morning. It's already been a morning, y'all. It's already been a morning. I'm fixing to do a video here in a minute because I'm really irritated at something. So y'all know that this is what my sensor looks like without a cover, okay? So y'all know that I'm diabetic and I've been wearing these sensors. I have to replace them every 2 weeks. My insurance will not cover them because I'm not on insulin. I have them because my sugar randomly crashes, and it's crashed in some inopportune places, like the middle of Joshua Tree National Park when it was like 110 degrees and I didn't know. So things like that. But this is the 4th one in a row that I've had malfunction. I should have another week left on this. I got out of the shower a little bit ago and it went, oh, your sensors ended, get a new one. Excuse you, what? These cost me $160 something a month for 2. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm just going to poke my fucking fingers and bitch about it. It is what it is. All right. I'm just all the fire this morning. I'm just letting you guys know. Sorry, not sorry. All right, Miss Addilee. I haven't turned anything over yet, just so you know, okay? Yeah. So I've tried to call the company repeatedly because everybody's like, call the company and get a replacement. Because I actually take pictures of every single top with the code and everything. I sit on hold forever. I never get an answer, ever. And so I've even put it on Twitter a couple times. And of course, then the company is like, oh, message us here. I never get an answer. So I'm just done. So I'm waiting to take this off. I'm going to do it in a video and I'm going to say exactly how I feel about these. They're great when they work. They're great when they work. But like I said, my last 4. And since March, I've been wearing them since March, February. Over half of them have malfunctioned. So, done. All right. Here you go, Miss Addilee. All right. Ooh. Girl, you beat yourself up way too much. You are way too hard on yourself. You beat yourself up way too much. I would say stop it, but I know you're not going to. And I see that I've already got the red dot of death. So know that I am streaming on TikTok as well, because apparently this is going to go in and out. You start off with Hades, which is equality and inevitability and so on. But let me say this. Hades also represents the darkness, the shadow self, okay? The underworld. He is literally the ruler of the underworld. So, This tells me that you kind of live in a shadow aspect. You live in a shadow aspect. Let me do this. Let's see if that helps. I hate this phone. I really hate this phone. I'm gonna have to get a new phone, and I don't want to. All right, put it on 5G. I hate this phone. I hate this office. I just hate everything this morning. Okay, not everything, but I dislike a lot of things this morning. Let me say that. All right. So, as I was saying, Hades represents the shadow. It represents the shadow self. Honey, you are living in the shadow self, and I'll tell you why. Because this one here is downcast pride, and this one here is alone in the world. So remember when I said this, well, let me talk about this real quick. This new moon really affected you deeply, and I would not be surprised if you had spent a lot of time in a depressive mode, crying, whatever happened. Here's the thing. We can do too much shadow work. We can do too much shadow work. Not only can you do too much shadow work, but you can break yourself. And you can get to the point where you can put yourself in a depressive episode because you have been doing too much shadow work. You've been looking at too many bad, hard things. Now, the intent was to get healed. The intent was to move through these triggers. The intent was noble. The problem is that we tend to stay there. So, these two cards right here are not so much you need to be doing. They are shadow work that you need to pause. This is a I need to pause. And I need to not throw cards. This is I need to pause. When we do too much shadow work, not only do we end up feeling really bad about ourselves, we feel like I don't look right, I don't sound right, I don't act right, I don't feel right, and then it starts to get physical. Your mind has a massive impact on how you feel physically. So, there we go. Fix you YouTube there. I would bet that you've been sick a lot lately too. I would bet that not only have you been sick a lot, but there's no real rhyme or reason to why you're sick. It's just, you just kind of feel like shit all the time, that without there being a reason. Not allergies, not, stomach flu, none of that. You just feel like shit because you've been in this shadow work too much. You've been in this shadow work way, way, way too much. I'm dying to see what this card is, but I'm not going to turn it over just yet. So you're going to have to take a pause, honey. You're going to have to take a pause. Thank you, Stephanie. It's having a day today. My calic is like, no, pay attention to me. So, sweetie, you're going to have to take a pause. Now, here's the problem. You've been in this shadow for so long, and you've been beating yourself up for so long that it's going to take you a little bit to get out of the shadow aspect. It's going to take, it's going to take you a little bit. You're going to have to force yourself to be happy. And that's a thing. It's a thing. When we do too much shadow work and we have to pull ourselves out of it, we have to then force ourselves to be happy. Fake it till you make it. Every time your brain starts to overthink something and go, maybe you're feeling like this because X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. You need to tell it, shut the fuck up. You seriously have to have something to pull your mind out of it. I overthink everything. I have too many Capricorn placements. But one of the things that I do is this. If I'm by myself, I literally will do this. Because, as a kid, when you hear 1, 2, 3, go, or somebody claps like that, it gets your attention, right? So when I'm by myself, I'll do that, or I'll even say out loud, stop it. When my brain starts overworking, sometimes I go 1, 2, 3, 4, go. because 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3, go resets your brain. Okay. So if I'm in public and I can't really do that, like sometimes I'll just squeeze my hand enough that, it hurts just a little bit. My nails are not pointed, so it really doesn't hurt anymore. But I will do something like that to kind of jolt myself. Step on your foot. You know what I mean? Like, don't hurt yourself, but enough that it jolts you. Does that make sense? Because the pain receptors in our head are going to override whatever we're overthinking. I know that sounds dumb. Heard it on a TED Talk, but it will help. I promise it will help. I'm dying to see this card. You guys ready for this one? Dream big, dream with your heart. That's interesting. Pay attention. Here's what I'm going to say about this. Stop focusing so much on your shadow work and start focusing on your manifestation. So apparently you've been in the shadow work aspect for way, way, way too long. It's time to focus on your manifestation. Here's the cool thing about focusing on manifestation. You can literally take this obsession with shadow work and turn it into your obsession with manifestation. Just saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. In other words, now is a great time to be manifesting, Miss Addilee. That is the universe saying, all right, you've done this. You've done this. Now it's time to do this. The good thing about overthinking and having an obsessive type way of looking at things is that when you turn it to something good, holy shit. I'm just saying. Okay. That makes sense. I was watching your comments and I'm glad you're here and kind of commenting a little bit. So that makes me really, really happy. It makes me really happy. Thank you, love. And thank you for letting me pause last night. To all of you guys that I'm reading today, thank you for letting me pause you last night because yeah, I was just about out. I was hitting the sleepy stupid mode. So, Miss Olivia Mills, I can't visit as long today because I have to get these done and then I have to get on the road ASAP. I have to go to Oklahoma City. Oh, good. I'm glad, Stormy. I appreciate it. All right. Olivia, are we ready? Thank you guys for all the follows. I appreciate it. Ooh, I haven't seen this one in a hot minute. Okay. Miss Olivia, you have Morgan Le Fay, which is growth and atonement and deceit. Just saying. Then you also have bride in a cage and the child I was meant to be. So you are super hardcore battling with yourself. This is actually a good thing, okay? When we're looking at shadow work reads, having this growth is a good thing. Atonement can be a good thing as well, as long as you don't go overboard with it. Deceit, not so much. But I don't feel like some of this is deceit. A little bit of it is, but we're going to talk about that. Growth is a good thing. So, this right here, this bride in a cage. This is you putting your happiness in a cage for something or someone else. A situation, a person, whatever it is. You are putting your happiness, your accomplishments, and this is like, this card represents a bride. On your wedding day, it's your day. You are the center of attention. If you're in a cage, that's putting your day, it's putting you on the back burner. It's locking you behind something that you don't need to be locked behind. Does that make sense? But here's the thing. This right here is self-imposed. It's self-imposed. It doesn't seem like it because we can let people manipulate us. Does that make sense? We can let people manipulate us. mainly because they get very good at manipulating people, and we don't see it until it's too late, until we're already firmly in this manipulation tactic. But this card in particular represents a self-imposed cage that you've kind of put yourself in, that you don't want to allow yourself to be happy. You don't want to tout your accomplishments too much. You don't want to say, oh, look at this great thing I did. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Because something or someone has made you feel like you can't. And that stems from this. So this is the child I was meant to be. And this is all about inner child work. I would bet that as a kid, your accomplishments were always kind of pushed down. You were always second, third, fourth, last. You were never the one to speak up. And when you did, someone very quickly was like, nope, I'm better than you. We don't want to talk about what you did today. We're going to talk about what I did today. So that's where this self-imposed cage comes from, is that you learned it. You were programmed to do it as a kid. So it's not unfixable, okay? So please don't think that. It's not unfixable. But you're going to have to start with little bitty tiny things. So it's like having this massive ball of yarn, like this tangled ass ball of yarn with 90 million end pieces coming out. You're going to have to start just pulling on them until eventually that whole ball goes and falls apart, okay? So the first thing I'm going to recommend is doing some inner child shadow work. And this is where you're going in and you're unpacking some of the things that you were programmed with. Every single person is programmed with BS. We are. Doesn't matter where you grew up. Good morning, Miss Joy. Doesn't matter who your parents are, what they believe. It doesn't matter. Every single person grew up with BS. We just did. Part of being a kid. Some people are more damaged than others, but we all have these self-imposed things. That's what I would recommend, is going back and starting to heal some of the inner child aspects. That will help to heal this too. But the other thing is this, with this Bride in a Cage card. You're going to have to start showing your accomplishments. You're going to have to start saying, hey, look, I did this. I accomplished this. And I know that is uncomfortable for you. Seeing this right here tells me that that is one of the most uncomfortable things that you can possibly do. You're going to have to start doing it, even if it's just like little by little by little by little by little. Hey, I painted my toenails today, you know, like little by little. Okay? It's a lot. It's a lot. But start pulling those strings until that whole ball just unravels. Okay? It's going to be really hard. I wanted to say don't be so hard on yourself, but the thing is, we're all our own worst critic. We are all our own worst critic. It just is. One of my favorite lines in one of NF's songs is, I'm my own worst critic, so haters, step your hate game up. I mean, no one can criticize us as much as we criticize our own self. So I know that that's hard for you. How I want you to approach this is to look at it like if you were your best friend, okay? If you were your best friend and your best friend accomplished what some of the things you've accomplished, what would you do? Wouldn't you be like, oh my God, that's fucking cool? See? Celebrate these things by yourself if you have to. You don't have to tell anybody else. Buy yourself a really cool cupcake. Buy yourself a cookie or a treat or something. And know this, I'm buying myself this treat because I accomplished this. Celebrate those accomplishments. Okay? Celebrate those accomplishments. Ready for this one? Believe in your power to manifest. I think this deck is off a little bit today, but I do understand. By celebrating your own accomplishments here, you're going to see where you've manifested a lot of things. You're going to see where you've manifested so much, and you haven't given yourself credit for it. So the thing about this is when you realize how much you've manifested, your confidence is immediately going to go through the roof. Immediately going to go through the roof. Y'all have to forgive my stomach growling. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Don't tell Sass. I may eat some peanuts for breakfast. Don't tell Sass. I'm just saying what I'm saying. All right, we're going to eat peanuts for breakfast because I got to get on the road in a minute. And I know that, good, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And thank you again for letting me kind of put you on a pause for today. All right. Usually when I say don't tell Sass, she's like, all right. Miss Danielle Jackson. I have hers first. Hey, Scout, do not call me on my bullshit. You either. Who is that? Goddess Beast. Don't call me on my bullshit. I love you too, baby. Do not call me on my bullshit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. Do as I say, not as I do. Oh, shit. I love you guys. You have no idea. All right, Miss Danielle. Okay. Got ya. You start off with the Traveler, the Keeper of the Crossroads. This is restlessness, independence, appraisal. But the main thing here is restlessness. The main thing here is restlessness. Because you have blinded to pain upside down. And you have today for tomorrow upside down. Blinded to pain means that you continue to hurt yourself and you're not paying attention. However, this is upside down. It means that you're seeing everything too much. When blinded to pain is upside down, it means that not only are you seeing all the pain, which is a good thing, okay? You're seeing it coming and you're trying to stop it. But you're overthinking, overreacting, and over moving, manipulating yourself so you don't hurt at all. That's just as bad. Thank you for that, love, and good morning. This is just as bad. To grow, to do shadow work, to really move forward in our spiritual self, we have to have some type of growth, which means there's a little bit of pain, there's dealing with bullshit, and there's healing. Healing is not all roses and sunshines and rainbows. It's not. Sunshines, did you like that? It's not. It's dark, and it's gritty, and it's hard, and it sucks. But on the other end are the good things. When you turn off and you completely remove yourself from any kind of hurt, it means that you're not doing the shadow work you need to do. We can do too much shadow work too quickly and break ourselves a little bit. Now, here's one of the things that comes with doing too much shadow work too quickly. And that is that suddenly your gifts and abilities go through the roof to the point they become painful. So those of you guys that are empathic, hey Hey, baby. Good morning. Those of you guys that are empathic, when you do a lot of work on yourself, watch your empathic gifts. They'll go through the roof to the point you don't want to be around people. It hurts. You don't want to be around people. I know my stomach's growling. If you are clairvoyant, you'll get to the point you don't want to sleep because you're dreaming every single night about horrible shit or about things that are going to happen. So it's like, you know what? Fuck it, I ain't sleeping. So when you do too much shadow work too quick, that's a byproduct of it. Your gifts go through the roof. The other byproduct is this. When this card is right side up, this is today for tomorrow. It means you're living too much in the future, not paying attention to today. When this card is right side up, it means you're living too much right now. There's a fine line between living in the moment and paying attention and being present and never thinking about the future and never thinking about the past. That's why this restlessness, that's why that was important on this card. Okay? So here's what I would say. You went through a phase of awakening where you did too much shadow work too quickly and you kind of broke yourself. Your gifts went through the roof, and then you don't want to or can't focus on anything in the future because you're too busy being right here, right now, and sidestepping all of the hurt. So it's time to get back into doing some shadow work. Ease into it, just a little toe in the water. You don't have to cannonball. Ease into it a little bit. It will fix this, okay? Just don't do like I do and go completely the opposite way. Ready for this one? It no longer holds power over you. Don't let this hold power over you anymore. This fear of hurt and growth and movement, it can stop us. It can stop us. Don't let it stop you anymore. Okay? All right. Apparently, I need to go through here. Half my cards are upside down. I don't like it when that happens. I mean, it happens for a reason, but I usually go through and do it. Especially when I haven't read with a deck in a long time. All right. Sarah Curvers. Ready? How's everybody's morning so far? Yeah, like that maybe. I don't know. Turn the cards over and then I'll tell ya. I think I need to make a shirt that says, hey, don't call me on my bullshit. Just saying what I'm saying. Ready? Okay. Well, you got a lot of work to do before the full moon. And you don't have a choice. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. First of all, you have the Red Shepherd, which is just reward, evaluation, it's growth, it's doing the work and getting the rewards from the work. So what that tells me right off the bat is that you've been doing shadow work and you've been doing it correctly, and you're starting to see a lot of positive things and positive changes in you. So that makes me really proud of you. Congratulations for that, because it tells me you've gone through some shit. It tells me you've gone through some shit. The other thing is this. You have fated to suffer and obsession. And notice that it's a 3/4 and a crescent. So you have a lot coming your way in the next couple of weeks. Okay? So let's talk about this fated to suffer card. There is something in the back of your mind, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it is in just a second. There is something in the back of your mind that every time something bad happens, you go, well, that's just my lot. That's what always happens. This right here is because when you were younger and really teenager on up, you've always had someone in your life that when something bad happens, it was your fault. It was your fault. Didn't matter if you were even in a separate state. It was your fault somehow. You always had somebody that took everything out on you. Always. I don't know if this was a parent, a sibling, a friend, whatever it was. You've always had somebody in your life, and it may not be the same person. It may be different people, but you've always been the scapegoat, basically. So therefore, you have a mindset where you're fated to always be suffering. You're always the one. You're always the one. Okay? You're always the one. I would bet this is because you are a super grounding personality. You are the backbone. You are the strong one. You are the one that fixes everybody's shit. And you are the one that everybody comes to when they have a problem. And then it's your fault. People that are very grounding for other people, whether you have, and it's not just because you have a lot of earth sign placements, okay? You can not have any earth sign placements, but yet be a super grounding person for somebody else. So say you're a Cancer, say you have water sign, say you Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You're going to draw people to you that are earth because you're their opposing sign. Say you're a fire sign, you're an Aries, a Sagittarius, a Leo. You're going to draw air signs to you because you're opposing signs. So you're going to draw people. You're an Aries. You're going to draw a lot of people that have a lot of air placements, especially any type of moon that's in an air sign, because they're coming to you because you're their grounding. Okay. So the other thing is this. This is the obsession card. This one's a little harder to pinpoint some of the things, but I'm just going to tell you the general of it because you will know exactly what it pertains to. There's something lately that you've been obsessed with and obsessed with doing, looking at, learning, whatever it is. And I want you to really look at this card. Like, it's a really, really cool ass card. But see the crown, just the crazy vines and stuff all over her head that are pushing her to look in this mirror. It's almost like whatever this obsession is, gotcha, has been pushing you to the point. It's all like, this is literally pushing her head down to look at that. It's all you can think about. Between now and the full moon, and that's almost 2 full weeks. I'll tell you the decks that I'm using in just a second, guys. It's almost 2 full weeks. You're really going to, I don't think you have a choice here, okay? I think that the universe is going to be like, you know what? Here's this other thing to worry about. Here's this other thing to worry about. Just so you know it's coming. Just so you know it's coming. Here's something else to worry about instead of this. Being that I have a lot of Capricorn placements, I worry about everything. I worry about money. Like, with a Capricorn, and I just use that because every sign has 3 different things that you don't fuck with them on, right? So with a Capricorn, you don't fuck with their integrity, you don't fuck with their money, and you don't fuck with their family. So I understand that completely. Completely. Okay? When I start worrying about it, I've learned to tell myself, the universe has got you. The universe has got you. Not that you don't need to work, not that you don't need to hustle, not that you don't need to do things, but there's no point in worrying about it. Okay? Same here, Hannah. High five. So, the universe is going to bring you something else to obsess about and take your mind off of this, because apparently this has been a thing for a while. Apparently it's been a thing for a while. Ready for this one? Following the path of another. I have a feeling this pertains to this. I would be willing to bet, seeing this card, I'd be willing to bet that you learned how to be this way from somebody that you grew up around, whether it was a mom, a grandparent, aunt, uncle, sister, whatever. Probably a parent, I would assume. This is not so much about following the path of another on purpose as it is accidentally just doing exactly what this person does. So I would bet this card right here triggered something in there where you're like, oh, I do that. So look at behaviors of that person and look at your behaviors. See where you learned how to be the way that you are from that person. It'll help a lot with this fated to suffer card. Okay. Was that too bad? Was that too bad? All right. So this deck right here is called Mausolea. This is what it looks like. It has the martyr card on the front. Mausolea. Okay. This is a shadow work deck. Let me hold this for a minute. These cards here. This is called the Dark Mirror. This is also a shadow work deck. Now, here's the thing about these two decks of cards. I bought both of these decks together in 2019. I've had them that long. I love them. I know them inside out, backwards, forwards, everything else. Okay? Both of these decks are shadow work decks. They are not to be used just for giving somebody a willy-nilly reading about, is my husband going to come back to me, or will I get a job? That's not what that's for. That's not what shadow work cards are for. Okay? They are to help you on your path. The other deck I'm using, this one here, is the Starry Beginnings deck. A fan sent this one to me and I really love it. It's a really great deck. But I wanted to just kind of reiterate that these two are shadow work decks and they cannot be used as a normal oracle card deck. Okay? I've seen a couple of creators using this deck in particular to get yes and no answers, and they are absolutely using them incorrectly. They're absolutely using them incorrectly. There is no way to get a yes or no answer from either one of these decks. There is not. Fight me. I'm just going to start throwing that in every sentence lately because I'm so tired of people being stupid. Fight me. So I'm done. Done. Spicy Bodie. All right. Here's one. All right. Dana McLaughlin. Not to fight me. Yeah. And the other thing too is this. I'm never going to name any creators. There's no point in it. And I'm not getting in the drama. I posted a video about paying attention to who you're learning from. And I need to answer those questions on there. Not questions, but I had a couple people insisting that I call people out. No, that's not the point of the video. It's not the point of the video. The point of the video was to pay attention to who you're fucking learning from. Listen to them. Not everybody that says they're an elder or an expert knows what the fuck they're talking about. And it's pretty easy to realize if they know or not. I don't know everything. Sometimes I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. But to be honest, like, I would much rather tell you I don't know anything about this. I'd much rather tell you I don't know anything about this. Other people are like, yeah, I know everything. Mm-mm. Run away. Run, Forrest, run. If you have somebody that says they know everything, out. All right. Woo! Dana, you are hardcore in the middle of a transition. Hardcore. First of all, you have Charon, which is the ferryman. This is necessity and focus and transition. All about movement. There is no pause here. It's all about movement. Because of this is the Triumph of Lies card. This means that there have been a lot of lies around you, around your life, around your path, and it's like they finally won. Does that make sense? Now, when I say it that way, coupled with this card here, it means that these things finally came to a head and you said, you know what, fuck this, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm out. I'm not doing this. Fuck you guys. I'm going home. So these two coupled together changes the meaning a little bit of this one. Does that make sense? When we have so many just false narratives that are around us. Oh, your new job held info about your position. Oh no. Oh no. I'm so sorry. It tends to push us, catapult us into action. Now, this one is the envious gluttony card. This one is interesting because this tells me that you've been in a spot, and please don't shoot the messenger, that you've been in a spot where you've been looking at other people's lives, their jobs, their cars, their whatever it is, their families, and you have in this just really envious thing inside. Thank you, Miss Renee. This really envious thing inside. Like, man, why can't I have that? Why don't I have that? I should have that. You see what I'm saying? Now, we all go through this. We all go through this. We all do. Okay? So, this is one of the hardest things to face about ourselves when we're coveting somebody else's stuff, situation, family, whatever it is. We all go through it. Every one of us. And the people that are like, I never do that. Bullshit, you a liar. You're lying out of your face. You do it. Everybody does. It's human nature. Part of it stems from this, which stems from this transition. Because when we're in this phase, thank you guys, when we're in this phase of transition and we feel like things are in turmoil around us, it's hard to not look at people and go, oh my God, I feel like this person has it all together. I feel like they're everything is perfect with them. Like how is that happening for them and not for me? And I wish that was, you see what I'm saying? When we're in this transition, it's hard to not have this. It's hard to not have this. So don't beat yourself up too much about this. Use it as a catalyst for change. Use it as a catalyst for change. Even though this card seems horrible, this can be one of the most fantastic things to make you shift your position. If you're looking at somebody else and going, why can't I do that? I want to do that. I want to be that. Use that as a catalyst for change. Too many people let it just fester and sit there, and then they just breed all of this big old hate ball of shit in there, and then they turn into that. But if you use it as a catalyst for change and transition, you will have that. So to be honest, even though some of these cards were a little hard, I mean, it's a shadow work reading. It's not like they're going to be like easy. Some of these cards were a little hard. Honey, I think you're actually in a fantastic place and you don't realize it. You're right at the precipice of a transition, of movement, of change, of shifting. And that's a scary place to be and a fantastic place to be at the same time, because it means that nothing is set in stone. It means that you have a blank slate, an open road in front of you. I want you to think of it that way. You have a blank slate in front of you. It is going to feel like that. It is going to feel like a weight because of all of this. When we're first starting to step into that transition, when we're first getting in that elevator, on that ship, whatever you want to, metaphor you want to use, it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming because when we are hitting this transition phase, our whole focus is on this transition. It's on this weight, this worry, this whatever it is. And we tend to forget that we hold the key to the weight, to the trap. We hold the key to taking it off. But we're programmed to want that trap on. We're programmed to want to wear that bear trap around our leg. Ready for this one? Breathe love into your life. Remind yourself to breathe. I love this. I love this. We all unintentionally put it on because we're programmed to. We're programmed to. It's just, it's part of how the world is, and it's stupid. It's stupid. If more people realized that they held the key to the bear trap around their leg and they could literally just take the fucking thing off. Just saying. Just saying. So every time this starts to feel like a big weight around your neck, just take a couple of deep breaths. Really, just take a couple of big deep breaths. Pause it and just take a couple of deep breaths because, yeah. Oh, thank you, Ash. Appreciate that. I try to be. I don't really know how else not to be. I don't think Danielle meant to do 3 because they're all in her name. And now my list locked up. Of course it did. Why are you being a bitch? Hey, Christine, are you here? Can you message Danielle Jackson and ask if she meant to do that 3 times? Because there's not a different name. Sometimes she does one for her son or her husband or whatever, but there's not a different name on any of them. So I don't want to do 2 more if she did that on accident. So would you just message her and ask, and then I'll do hers. If she did want me to do her husband and her son, then I will. Won't be today, obviously, but yeah. And don't stress if you don't get an answer back right away, okay? Thank you so much. All right. Michelle P. and then Dana Chavez. And then I'm out like gout. So Shane pointed out to me yesterday, I said that, and he was like, that actually makes no sense because gout is in. It's internal. It's inside. Well, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for coming back and joining me this morning. Yes, but you want to get it out. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I've never had it, so I can't say, but I know a couple people that have, and I've heard how painful it is. So yeah. Thank you, Irma. I appreciate that. Ooh, sweet pea. Okay. So this is actually the perfect phase of the moon for you to do some work in. You start off with the martyr card. You literally start off with the martyr card. And then you have the bride in a cage. And you have fragmentation. Is that not just the most beautiful card? I love these cards. This is one of my favorite decks. I could just sit and stare at each card. This one, to be honest, reminds me of the Star Trek movie with the Borg, where Jean-Luc Picard is like getting transformed or whatever, and the Borg Queen is being lowered down. Like, that's what that one reminds me of. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh, it's the Borg Queen. I digress. Sorry. All right, Michelle. The reason I showed you all of these instead of talking about it is this. Honey, you're allowing yourself to be a martyr for other people. This right here tells me that you were never seen or heard as a child, that you were always put on the back burner, that you weren't so much the scapegoat as you felt like you had to be the martyr. You felt like you had to, in order to protect your friends, to protect your siblings, to protect whoever, you had to be the martyr. You had to take all of the punishment, all of the blame. You had to do it. But what happened is, by doing that, you fragmented yourself. In fragmenting yourself, you put your own self in a cage because you feel like you have to be the martyr. You have to be super honest about everything. You have to overshare. You're not allowed to hold anything back for you. You're not allowed to have anything that's private, that's secret. I would bet that you have a hard time having your own space, that you allow people to invade your own space, and they know they can, so they continue to do it. And invading your own space is not just like your bedroom. I mean, this is everywhere. Your office, your workspace, your car, everywhere. They just invade it because they know they can. It just makes me want to hug the living shit out of you, to be honest. The thing about the crescent moon phase is, and these are both different sides of the crescent. During that phase, during that first week-ish after the new moon and right before the full moon, it's really hard for you. Things are illuminated and the hidden things are coming to the light. Here's what I'm going to recommend, because this is kind of a hard pattern to get out of. You're going to have to start putting yourself back together. And the first thing that you're going to have to do is to start setting boundaries with the people that do this the most. Start with people you don't know super well, because that's easier, okay? New friends, coworkers, etc. New people. You need to start setting these boundaries now. Boundaries can be as little as not feeling like you have to answer every single phone call or text when it comes in. That's a big one right there. feeling like you have to answer every single text as soon as it comes in. You have to answer every phone call no matter what you're doing. That's a trauma response from this right here, from being fragmented. That's the easiest boundary to set. But the thing is, that's more a boundary with you than with other people. And if somebody calls and say you're in a meeting, you're doing something important, maybe you're washing the dishes and your hands are soaked and you just can't answer the phone. If you call them back and they get mad at you, here's the first thing that I tell somebody now. I don't live my life by my phone. I had shit to do. I usually try to be funny about it, but now I'm just blatant about it because I understand this. This also comes from having to have someone or having someone that had to know where you were at every single moment of time. Either a helicopter parent, an abusive ex, whatever. That stems from this too. It's a PTSD response. CPTSD usually. Start by setting little tiny boundaries like that. Okay? All right. Sweetheart, I appreciate that you came into my live last night to spew some hatred, and I so appreciate that you come in today to do the same thing. I wish you the absolute best on your path. I wish you all the happiness in the world, and I hope that you can heal whatever trauma that is in there that causes you to be so hateful to other people that are not in your realm, in your world, or even know who you are, honey. That type of hatred is what is wrong with the world right now. And I hope that one day you can find the shadow work that you need to do to grow and to become a more whole, more solid person. I love you. I wish nothing but the best for you. And I hope one day you can heal whatever that is in there that causes you to do the things that you do. Yeah. With that being said, I'm going to block that person. Because I'm sure that they didn't even stay to listen. And that's okay. Hurt people hurt people. Ready? Let love be your guide. So this is going to be a super tough one, Michelle. You ready? Because this is self-love. When you're fragmented, self-love is the hardest fucking thing that you can do. It is the hardest fucking thing that you can do. When you're fragmented and you feel like you are undeserving of love, self-love is the hardest thing for you to do. So, ooh, baby. You do come to my class on Monday, yeah? Yeah? For those of you guys that don't know, every Monday at 6 p.m. Central, I'm teaching a free shadow work class. Free shadow work class. I've been teaching shadow work since like 2014. Way before TikTok, way before it was cool on social media. I've been doing it in small private classes, online, etc. And what I'm seeing it become cool again. It was cool a couple years ago. Now it's becoming cool again. But the way that it's becoming cool, it's abusive. And it pisses me off. And I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it. I do teach classes. I do also do one-on-one appointments. But I have a lot of people that come to me for appointments or whatever, and they have done a shadow work seminar, or they're doing they have this app on their phone or whatever, and they have broke their fucking selves because the app, the person they learned from, the seminar, whatever, was not shadow work. It was flat abusive. Shadow work's already hard enough. You don't need somebody that's a fuck bag just verbally abusing you. So yeah. Yes, the shadow work class will be on YouTube. I'm trying to upload the one from Monday. I'm going to try to do that today, this afternoon, while I'm sitting still. So that way you guys can see it, because the class on Monday was really, really good. So yeah. But this next Monday, it absolutely will be. Woo! All right, Miss Dana. I would love to see all of you guys there. It's absolutely free. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to pay me anything. You don't even have to say anything. Just come listen, okay? Just come listen, all right? All right. It will help you, I promise. All right. I saw you. Stop it, bitch. Shit. Dana! You were trying to get like 9 cards there. Okay. All right. All right. You are so welcome, Scout Honey. I will probably start doing these maybe once a week. I used to do these as private appointments, but I really like doing them. So yeah. I'll be working on my schedule today, this afternoon. That's part of my afternoon. So just know that I will have a whole bunch of lives up before Zodiac reads on Monday. And then, yeah. All right. Dana, ready? Okay. So you start off with the El Shaddai Lord, which is El Shaddai card, which is wisdom and paternal instinct and kindness. Okay. Then you have Parasite, and then you have Alone in the World. So my question here is this, Dana. Well, not my question. Let me say this. Okay? Let me say this. What this tells me right here is that you have an extremely abusive person in your life. That Parasite card right there, coupled with the Alone in the World and the kindness, tells me that you are a genuinely nice person. You are a genuinely kind person, that you go out of your way to help other people. When that happens, I would bet you're also super empathic too. When that happens, we tend to draw abusive and people with narcissistic tendencies to us like flies on shit. Like all of them. And it becomes a parasitic attachment in our life. We get rid of one, we find another. We get rid of one, we find another. We get rid of that one, find another. Just this is something karmically that you have to address in this life. And I'm going to tell you why I say that in just a minute. But seeing the Alone in the World card right here, it tells me that you've been in this cycle for so long that you feel like this is what you're supposed to have, or you're never going to find somebody that's a healthy relationship. It also tells me that you probably have a lot of codependent behaviors. So when we go through a super abusive relationship, especially if it's a long-term relationship, we get codependent. So when we have something else that comes up, say we finally get rid of this relationship, it's done, gone. When we have a healthy relationship come into our hands, A, we don't know how to handle it. And B, we start to do some of these codependent behaviors to see if we can pull the other person into doing it, because that is what we're used to having. So say you had somebody who had to know where you were every moment of the day. They were constantly texting you. If you were 5 minutes longer than they thought you should be, they're calling, they're texting, they're screaming at you, whatever. Your response to that, your codependent behavior, is going to be programmed to immediately be like, hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm here. To check in, even when you don't need to check in. I've been home for 10 minutes. I've been home for 13 minutes. I've been home for 16 minutes. You see what I'm saying? We get to that point. So then we get a healthy relationship. I'm guilty of this. Like, this is the only reason I'm using this example is I'm guilty of this. I had somebody that had to know where I was at every fucking moment. They controlled the money. They had trackers on my phone, things like that. If I was 5 minutes longer, maybe I got stuck in traffic. Maybe there was an accident and I'm sitting on the highway. If I was 5 minutes longer, I got screamed at for a long time. So therefore, I have problems, and it rears its head every now and then where I feel like I have to check in all the time with somebody. It doesn't even necessarily mean the person I'm in a relationship with, if I'm in a relationship. Sometimes poor Sass gets updates every 5 minutes. Like, I'm here. I'm here. Now I'm going here. Sass is probably like, bitch, I don't even know where you're at. So we get in that kind of codependent behavior, because then we want to see if we can get the other person to reciprocate. Now they need to know where we're at all the time because we've been telling them. So if we don't tell them, now they want to know. We try to pull them into that. Does that make sense? We get into that codependent behavior. That's what's going on, Dana. You feel utterly alone when this happens because you're like, well, I'm a big girl. I don't have to let you know where I'm at. But at the same time, still do it. Still do it. The reason that I said all of that, and the reason that I say that this is from that kind of relationship, and that this is a karmic tie, a karmic bond with you, it's not with a person, it's with you, okay? We can have karmic ties with ourselves, things that we have to karmically let go of, and they don't have to involve any other people. The reason I said that is because of this card right here. And this one flung out. I didn't get a chance to flip it over. It flung out, was like, here you go, bitch. This right here is life is an expression of you. So that tells me that this right here is something karmically that you have to deal with in this life. Sweetie, you're an amazingly kind person. People have just taken advantage of it for so damn long. That you've become this parasitic aspect. Not you've internalized it. So this is going to be setting hardcore boundaries with yourself, setting hardcore things in place to where whatever this behavior is that you do, the codependent aspect, that you stop yourself from doing it. And it sucks so bad. It sucks so bad. And it's so hard to get out of. But I'm going to tell you this, okay? For any of you guys that were in any kind of abusive relationship, therapy is your friend. Therapy is your friend. I'm not saying don't do shadow work on your own. Therapy is your friend. That was Dana C. Thanks, Christine. Therapy is your friend. I am not a therapist. I mean, I guess I'm a spiritual therapist. But please, please, please find someone to talk to you. Okay? Find someone to help you through. Because if you've been in any kind of abusive situation or abusive relationship, I guarantee you have CPTSD. Because PTSD is from one event, one traumatic event. CPTSD is repeated things over and over and over and over and over. It causes a lot of damage to your psyche. It causes a lot of damage to yourself. That in turn causes a lot of damage to you spiritually. Therapy is your friend, okay? Therapy is your friend. There are all kinds of therapists everywhere. They work on sliding scales. Most insurance covers it. Please, please, please do not neglect yourself, okay? Please. Because the world is on fire enough. The world is on fire enough right now. And I know that a lot of people struggle with not wanting to be here because of all of that. Because everything is on the news, on social media, in our faces all the time. I never want to lose any of you guys. Okay? I don't ever want to lose any of you guys. I see all of the ripples that you make, whether you see them or not. I see every ripple that you make. And I'm proud of you, and I love you, and I don't ever want to lose any of you, okay? Okay? So, that being said, I'm going to head out of here. Got to rush to the shop, grab a few things, get to Oklahoma City. I'll be doing a lot of scheduling today. And answering messages and things like that. And things like that. So, yeah. But I'm going to go ahead and turn off YouTube here. Thank you guys for coming to watch today. I appreciate it.